Stop me where you've heard this before. You've got a team that's established themselves as NFL champions, taking on a team that's young and unproven, but looks to be ready for a dynasty. They're on to the fact that one of these teams only got there due to a controversial call, and there's a lot of similarities to that 2001 Super Bowl that kickstarted this entire Patriots dynasty. But with the exception of Belichick and Brady, those two teams are completely different teams than the ones that will be playing this upcoming Sunday in the Super Bowl. I've mentioned in the past how this Patriots team blocks like no other team in the league, and when you add on to the fact that the Rams are 22nd against the run, you would think that this is a pretty good matchup for the Patriots. However, that doesn't mean that the Rams can't make plays. Take this one for example. It's going to be a run to the left side of the screen, and Dallas's right guard and right tackle are going to be blocking the Rams' right interior lineman and right end, and then they're going to have their left tackle block the Rams' left end. They're also going to send a tight end who's lined up as a receiver out to block a linebacker, but that leaves the other linebacker still unblocked. There's a couple of things you could do here. You could have your left guard block that interior lineman and then move your center up to block that linebacker, or you could double team that interior lineman. However, Dallas is going to do neither. They're going to pull their center over to lead block for their halfback. The idea here is that if a Los Angeles Ram gets free, then that center can just block him as he'll be ahead of Ezekiel Elliott. However, if no Ram gets free and every Dallas Cowboy makes their block, then he can run up, block that safety, and it could be a home run play for Dallas. However, there's one problem with that, and it leaves that linebacker unblocked. That linebacker is Corey Littleton, and basically the idea here is just to hope that Littleton breaks in and Elliott can just run by him. However, Littleton reads the play well, breaks to the outside, and Elliott has really nowhere to go. As you see here, Littleton is right in the hole where Elliott would want to be, and that doesn't allow Elliott to get through, and he ends up just getting tackled. On paper, you want to create plays that'll take away these linebackers, however, that causes problems. As you see on this play from the very same game, Dallas plans on having their right tackle and left guard move up to block linebackers. However, this leaves one-on-one matchups on everyone else. More specifically, it leaves a one-on-one matchup for Aaron Donald. As you see, Tyron Smith, who is absolutely no scrub, is going to have to move to his right and try to block Donald head on. Donald is so quick that you really can't make a play like this, and Donald's just going to run right past Smith and get to Elliott and make a tackle for a loss. This is a Rams team that can be run on, however, it's a Rams team that can also make big plays. But the problem is going to be who they're facing. The New England Patriots, as I mentioned before, are one of the best blocking teams in the league, and here's an example of them running the exact same play that Dallas ran on that last one. So once again, you'd think the guy to look at would be that left tackle who's taking on an interior lineman. However, Trent Brown takes care of him with relative ease, and in fact, every Patriot who has a one-on-one matchup makes their block, and now they have two guys moving up to block linebackers, which leads to a big run from Sony Michel. But just because this Patriots team run blocks well, doesn't mean Sony Michel doesn't help them out. This is the initial blocking concept for New England, and to have James Develin as a lead blocker, meaning that the key guy to watch is going to be Trent Brown. His sole goal is to create a big enough gap that even with a linebacker coming into that gap, Develin can block him, and then there'll be enough room in that gap that Michel can run through and get to a touchdown. However, that doesn't really work out as planned. As you see, there is a gap, however, it's not quite big enough for Michel to get through since there's Develin and a linebacker in that area. But what I really like about what Michel does here is that he doesn't try to do anything fancy. He doesn't try to break to the outside, he doesn't try to do any spin move or anything. He's just going to run straight through. Michel did a great job of not leading to anything too fancy, and it led to a touchdown. While Michel isn't necessarily known as being a power back, one of the things that really helps him on this play is that he has Develin in front of him, who definitely does have power. Develin was basically able to be that power back in front of Michel, and Michel was just able to finish the job. One of the key things to look at in this game is going to be James Develin. The Patriots have one of the best, if not the best fullback in the league, and they use him exactly how you would want to use a fullback like that. Take this play for example. Just looking at it, it doesn't appear to be anything too fancy. It's just going to be a run to the left side of the screen, and this is the blocking concept that New England's going to be in. This might not seem like the best idea since Buffalo now has a nose tackle who's going to be completely unblocked at the line. However, New England has a plan for that. They're going to send James Develin over to block him, and because Develin is a fullback, he can pretty much take whatever angle he wants. Angles are key in blocking, and because of that good angle, Michel now has plenty of room in front of him to pick up a big gain. As the old saying goes, you run to set up to pass, and that's exactly what this Patriots offense does. As you see on this play, it's going to be a cover 3 zone, and this is the route concept that New England's going to be running. At first, it doesn't seem to be too great. Edelman will have a little part of his route that will be open, however, it's not much. However, that's okay for New England. They're going to be running a play action on this play, and you're going to see both of Chargers linebackers move in. This now allows Edelman to just run past them. Edelman's able to get pretty well open, and they're able to make a catch for a big gain. The New England Patriots love to use play action. However, this Rams team is actually very good against play action. As you see on this play, it's going to be a cover 2, and to have a shadow on a receiver. One key thing to watch here is that the Eagles have a tight end on the top half of the screen, and so a couple of Rams are going to actually stay higher to the top of the screen in zone, and then they're just going to have 2 guys to have more of a wider zone on the bottom half of the screen. As you see, this is the route concept that Philadelphia is going to be running, and this one route in particular is going to be the key one. Because the Eagles are going to be running play action, this could allow linebackers to creep forward and allow Foles to just throw over them. However, that doesn't really work out the way they wanted it to. As you see, Mark Barron plays this one pretty perfectly. He doesn't move forward at all. He does change his hips into a direction where he could run up and make a play if it is a run. However, he's still back and ready for a pass. Now he's easily able to back up into his initial zone and is able to take Foles' first read out of the play. Foles still does have another guy that appears to be open. However, there is a Rams defensive back moving forward already ready to clog up that zone. And when Foles flips it to him, he's able to make a quick tackle and they aren't able to get much on display. The Rams seem to have the mindset that it's better to get beat on the ground than get beat through the air, and while I do agree with that line of thinking, it does have its drawbacks. It can become very easy to scheme against, like take a look at what Doug Peterson did here. He has a trips formation on the top half of the screen, and this is the formation that teams love to run screen passes out of. So because of that, Los Angeles is going to have several defenders in that area. Typically, you would have at least one of those guys still in the box in the middle of the screen. However, because they don't, now Philadelphia can easily just send 2 offensive linemen up to block those remaining 2 linebackers, and now everyone is getting blocked. It led to a very easy big run. Personally, I do think the strategy of not letting teams beat you through the air and being okay with the occasional big run is a good strategy. However, if I'm a Rams fan, that's probably the #1 thing I'm worried about going into this Super Bowl is that strategy. Because this New England team runs the ball so well, and they have absolutely no problem just running the ball constantly, it could be very bad news for the Rams if the Rams continue to sort of play back and not worry about the run as much. Luckily for them, they have an extra week to prepare, and I'm really looking forward to what their game plan is going to be on Super Bowl Sunday. But while their run defense might be a little bit of a cause for concern, their passing offense is certainly the opposite. Like take this play for example. San Francisco's running a loose cover 3 zone. The basic idea behind this play is that your safety stays as far in and as far to the top half of the screen as the farthest receiver in that area. As you see here, the safety on the bottom half of the screen does a very good job of this. He doesn't let that receiver get past him or further to the bottom of the screen than he is. On the top half of the screen, you see a safety doing a pretty similar thing. However, the problem with that for San Francisco is now the Rams are going to send another receiver in that area. This is a long play to develop. However, look at the protection Goff has. He's not even in remote trouble, and he's able to make a big throw and pick up a big gain. It was a good play design and a really good throw, but what I also really liked about it was Goff's patience. That's one thing that I feel like Goff doesn't get enough credit about, and it's that he can be so patient to make these plays. You often hear this get talked about in hockey, where sometimes guys just make a shot as soon as they see an open net, but in reality, if they just waited an extra half second, the net could have been wide open and it could have made an easy goal. Well, I feel like Goff kind of does the same thing, where instead of just making a throw that has a decent chance of getting caught, he'll wait until he has the chance to make a throw that has a great chance of getting caught. Like on this play, for example. This is the coverage that San Francisco is going to be in, and this is the route concept that the Rams are going to be running. And watch how patient Jared Goff is here. He has no panic whatsoever. He's not trying to force the ball anywhere. He's simply waiting for something to get open. And of course, it helps that he has a great offensive line. At this point, Robert Woods is running a route that's designed to beat man coverage. However, the problem is, there's a San Francisco 49er in that area who's in coverage, meaning Woods has to get past him before Goff can make a throw. However, despite that, the offensive line gives Goff enough time, and Goff is able to be focused and be patient enough to make that throw exactly when he has to, and they're able to pick up a big gain. Sean McVay loves to take advantage of his good blocking offensive line and Jared Goff's patience to make some big throws. However, New England does a pretty good job of shortening the time you have in the pocket. Like on this play, for example, they're already going to rush 5, and they're going to have a linebacker fake as though he's blitzing, but then drop back into coverage. There is a Charger who's running a route designed to beat man coverage. However, since the Patriots do have a guy dropping back into coverage, this means Rivers can't throw it there, and he basically just has to take a shot deep. So in theory, if this Rams team likes to take advantage of having extra time by making big plays, it seems like it would be very logical to blitz them and then not let them make those big plays. However, the problem with that is that this Rams offense doesn't have to have a ton of time to make a big play. Like on this one, for example, Arizona's going to be running a cover 1 linebacker blitz on this play. However, despite the extra man blitzing, look at the offensive line here. They do a very good job of keeping Goff protected. Now Goff can just find someone who's open and make a throw. I think that's going to be one of the keys to watch in this game when the Rams are on offense and the Patriots are on defense, is how often do the Patriots blitz and how effective are they at blitzing. They like to blitz, and as you see, this is the exact same play that Arizona ran on that last play. However, with a much different outcome this time. Granted, comparing the Rams offensive line to the Jets offensive line is kind of like comparing the Playboy Mansion to a strip club you find under a bridge. However, take a look at how much better of a job the Patriots do on this play, despite it being the exact same play. Not only do they get pressure almost instantly, but their cover guys do a great job of not allowing any Jet to get anywhere close to being open. Darnold essentially just has to throw it away. Not only does New England's front seven do a great job of applying pressure to the quarterback, but they also do a great job of stopping the run. They're the third best run defense in the league, and take a look at what makes them so effective. One of the key things the Patriots do is just put a lot of Patriots on the line. They kind of have the opposite approach to what the Rams defense has, where they say we're going to put a lot of guys on the line, and we trust our guys that if it is a pass play, they can get back. And look at how effective it can be on a play like this. As you see, there's nothing too fancy on the Jets' front five, as they're going to have one-on-one matchups, except for their right guard and center, who will be double-teaming a Patriots interior lineman, and then they're also going to send both their tight ends to block two Patriots on the outside. And this is going to leave two Patriots still unblocked on the play. New York is going to pull their center over to the left side of the screen. However, this is a tough block for a center to make. If you're a halfback on this play, you really want to run straight forward. However, he can't really do that due to the positioning. Now he really has nowhere to go, and he ends up getting tackled for a loss. New England loves to run plays like that. However, the Rams do a very good job of avoiding plays like that. Take a look at this one. They're going to pull their right guard over to the left side of the screen, and each one of their blockers is going to be sort of moving to their right, which is to the left side of the screen. On the left side of the screen, the Rams have two tight ends, and they're going to have one of them block that cowboy who's in that area, and the other one is going to fake as though he's blocking, and then run a route to the left side of the screen. This is essentially just going to be a pick play, and it's a great way to take advantage of Dallas having a lot of guys on the line by making a play that just allows someone to get the ball just past the line and who's able to then pick up a big gain. However, if you don't do that, and maybe don't play to run so much, that's how the Rams can really beat you. While the Patriots are one of the best overall blocking teams that we've seen in a while, the Rams might be the best run blocking team we've seen ever. On this play, the Rams are going to have their right tackle block a defensive end, and they're going to have their center sort of pull over to give himself a better angle, and then block a Cowboys interior lineman. They're going to have their right guard double team a guy and then move up to block a linebacker, and they're also going to have their left guard move up to block a linebacker, and then they're going to have their left tackle move over a couple of steps to the left side of the screen and then block that interior lineman, which should give a good positioning. You're going to want to take a look at Gregory on this play. Seemingly it would make sense for him to just run straight in towards the handoff. However, the problem with that is Whitworth is now in that area, so he pretty much was going to have to try to get through Whitworth if he does that. His other option would be to run around. However, at that point he would just be out of the play, since the time it would take him to then run around and get back to a halfback would be far too much. What's really impressive about this play is the offensive linemen who have to take a couple of steps over and then make their blocks. However, they do it so well it makes it look easy, and it's a huge reason they were able to pick up such a big gain on this play. While there's been plenty of talk about what's going on with Todd Gurley, why isn't he getting as many handoffs, why is CJ Anderson getting more handoffs, personally, I don't care who you have as halfback. You could have Barack Obama be running the ball. With this Rams offensive line, they're going to be able to pick up a lot of yards. I really think that might be the most interesting thing to watch heading into the Super Bowl. You have a great run defense taking on an all-time great rushing offense. On one hand, I love to see teams that were bad for so long get good and win a championship. However, it would seemingly just be perfect if the Patriots were able to get one last Super Bowl against a team that started off this whole dynasty to begin with.